On defense, RJ Oben played 11 snaps. Why?
Because he's just not getting it. He's not getting Al Golden's defense is maybe what it is. And maybe we took Javonte Jean-Baptiste for granted in that regard because he came in from a completely different system and was able to play 40, 50 snaps a game and look really good doing it. And he was one of Notre Dame's best defensive linemen, maybe even one of their best defensive players. RJ Oben is not that right now. He's not getting it. Marcus Freeman said in his press conference, he's got to get to a point where he's truly helping us on the football field. Right now, he's still searching for that. And Marcus Freeman said he believes that he's going to get there. But, I mean, we're already what is 2 of or 1/6 is the ratio, 2 of 12. We're 16, 17% of the way through this season already there. And that's what that equates to. And RJ Oben's not getting it. He had all of the summer and all of fall camp to get it, and he's not there right now. And that's why you were seeing Josh Burnham play, really, if you look at the snaps, 5 times as much as RJ Oben. When last year, Darren, Joshua Burnham would only come in and play a fraction of the snaps to give Javonte Jean-Baptiste a rest. It's kind of a 180 situation at that strong side defensive end right now.
Marcus Freeman was asked on Monday, did he give any consideration to replacing Riley Leonard with Steve Angeli? He said there was absolutely no consideration. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. Notre Dame had the lead late in that ball game, believe it or not. And it looked like they were going to go on one of those types of drive. When Notre Dame got the ball back and they got that thing to midfield, Darren, I was thinking, all right, this is 21-13 victory for Notre Dame. It's going to be ugly. The message boards are going to be mad, but it turned out to be the opposite. They were even madder. They were, the angst is even heightened because Notre Dame lost that game. But no, you didn't get Riley Leonard to stick him on the bench against NIU, and I get it. He didn't look good in that game. He threw 2 interceptions, but the game was there to be won. You could have that conversation afterward if Notre Dame did win and say, okay, where is our quarterback position at? Now you're having that conversation after a loss, and I will say that now you can actually have that conversation because Riley Leonard came here to maybe win every single game in this Notre Dame season, and it only took 2 for that to go out the window. Now you have to have that conversation, Darren. Hey, do we have somebody else in this quarterback room who maybe could have won that game and can help us win as many of these next 10 as we can, maybe all of them, and salvage this thing? I don't know how many people bleeding blue and gold believe that is possible right now. I don't even believe that is possible right now, but you have to look at all options when you lose that game, Darren. And at the end of the day, it came down to the last second. So that's why I'm not surprised that Notre Dame never had that consideration because they were still in the position to win that game, ugly as it was.
Finally, no matter the fan base, when you lose, everybody is looking to blame something. And one of the biggest social media talking points was Anthony Tresh, the analytics guy, the guy that was the shadow of Marcus Freeman walking wherever he went, 34 seconds left. They're on the field together having a conversation, talking strategy. I think a lot of schools have that guy on a headset upstairs so you don't even know it. It probably just looks a little funny to Irish fans that this guy that they have no idea who he is helping Marcus Freeman make decisions during a football game.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Moneyball guy, Darren, but I know a lot of people love that book, love that movie. Yep. Billy Bean, Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill, right? I believe this guy is basically Jonah Hill and Marcus Freeman is Brad Pitt. So you kind of fall in love with him when things are going right? But there were times in that movie where he's the scapegoat and you point at him and say, what the heck were you thinking? Why are we doing it this way? That's kind of what I get at. And it's a lot better if Notre Dame wins that game. You're probably pointing at him and saying, oh my gosh, this guy's a genius, but Notre Dame didn't win. So maybe he's people are pointing at him and saying, yeah, what is this guy doing on the field? So I don't like it. A head coach needs to be completely sure of himself. And like you said, maybe Brian Kelly and whoever else, insert veteran head coach here, Kirby Smart, talking to that guy on the headset for sure. But Marcus Freeman, kudos to him for being comfortable enough to saying, hey, I want you right by my side because I believe in you that much. And at the end of the day, Darren, I don't know if we're talking just that last sequence when Northern Illinois had the ball and was setting up to kick the field goal, that whole thing is completely within Notre Dame's control if they just had all of their timeouts. And that's not an Anthony Tresh problem because Notre Dame blew a timeout on defense with 12 minutes left in the third quarter. That's the timeout that I'm looking at. I'm not looking at, hey, should we have called it after second down? I think that was the discussion, right? They let the clock bleed after second down, and it was 3rd and 2. And Northern Illinois ended up taking the timeout before 3rd and 2, and Notre Dame didn't take a timeout until 4th down, I believe. I think that's when Notre Dame took its last timeout, was before the field goal itself. Look, all of that is different if you have all 3 timeouts. I'm pointing toward clock management earlier in the game. That's become a theme with Marcus Freeman and this regime, blowing timeouts. It happened at Texas A&M, Darren. They blew a timeout when they lined up on 4th down, went to the sideline. They still came out and lined up the same way. You have to be able to conserve that timeout and do what you need to do without taking a timeout earlier in the ball game, because we all know, Darren, when are timeouts at their most effective usage? When do you need them the most? It's at the end of halves. It's at the end of games. Notre Dame did not have all of those. That was not an Anthony Treach problem. So don't point to that guy and do the whole Jonah Hill bit. So sometimes you got to point to Billy Beane and Brad Pitt.